From a kind NPC who sold useful items at his peak to becoming one of the most hated NPCs only a few days later, this is the story of Petrus of Thorolund, who, had he not been a total psycho, could have been remembered fondly in the minds of many Souls players. Hi, I'm the onebadmushroom. I sometimes post weekly videos about whatever I feel like, and one way you can avoid being a total psycho is by subscribing, so hit that red subscribe button and let's get on with the video. The Chosen Undead would first meet Petrus in Firelink's Shrine, where he would initially come off as passive-aggressive, but with a small amount of convincing and joining his covenant, he would give the Chosen Undead a coin and then become a useful NPC, who sold a decent amount of miracles and talismans and taught the legendary shrug emote. For most undead, he would be their first ever source of cleric-related items, and would remain as the only cleric merchant for quite a while. However, it was clear from his initial hostility that something wasn't quite right.
Have you met Petrus, that self-proclaimed cleric? Believe me on this one, bruv, the man is scum.
I want you two as likely found once in common. For is he not too drenched in sin?
Eventually, several companions of Petrus would arrive in Firelink's Shrine: Vince, Nico, and most notably, Rhea, a member of the prestigious House of Thorolund who had unfortunately become an undead. The group claimed they were traveling on a sacred mission to escort Rhea through the Catacombs and would then shortly depart from Firelink, but this is when everything would go horribly wrong. Petrus would later return from the mission, however, he would return without any of his companions, claiming that he became separated from them during the mission. But it was clear from his vague description and unusual attitude that something far more sinister had happened instead.
Maiden Thorolund and her followers recently arrived in this land, but she became stranded deep below the catacombs. Her followers either fled or were reduced to hollows.
It turns out that Petrus actually abandoned his group, which basically goes against everything he stands for. When confronted, he doubled down on the accusations, showing the world his true colors: that he was a coward, an unaliver, and maybe even a PDF file.
In the depths of the catacombs, Milady slipped off the giant's coffin and into a hole. Her two companions are no longer human, and the lass weeps in solitude. Right now, you could do as you please with her. The poor little purebred is entirely helpless.
After the Chosen Undead saved Rhea, he would continue to act shady until eventually unaliving her a mere 2 boss fights later, stealing her humanity and her talisman. Worst of all, he didn't even put up a good fight. It's safe to say that these actions would permanently make Petrus one of the most hated NPCs in not just Dark Souls, but the Souls series as a whole. But he doesn't even come close to Patches, who has an extremely deep history with the Souls series. This video I am referring to doesn't exist and probably won't be made unless this video does well. So until next time, I will see you absolute legends later.